Said I would go to the gym 10 times in January, and today is day 10. I'm so excited. So I'm here to announce my new goal. My new goal is to go to the gym 11 times in February, even though I'm traveling to speak, even though I'm going to have a lot of excuses, even though keeping the momentum is really, really hard. But I committed in January. I did it, even though it was extremely difficult. I'm going to do it again in February. I'm going to go a minimum of 11 times to the gym in February. And I'm going to count it. I'm going to go running, lifting, and sauna. Running, lifting, and sauna. I'm going to do it 11 times in January, and I'm really excited. I want you to set a goal as well. I want you to be inspired. I want you to do something that's outside of your comfort zone. It was extremely outside of my comfort zone to go to the gym. Going to the gym was really, really difficult for me. Why was it difficult to go to the gym? A, I have to drive there. B, I realized that I have some issues around the gym. I had some pretty major issues around going to the gym. Growing up, it wasn't respectable and allowed to go to the gym. It wasn't something that we did in society. It was like really against the rules to go to a gym. And I realized that, you know what, I have some trauma around that. So I got over it. I worked on it. It was hard work, but you know what? I worked on it and I signed up to the gym. The first time I went there, I said, I'm not going to do it. Simon Zellman said, sauna doesn't count. Sauna together with running, together with lifting. And it does count. Thank you, Simon. I appreciate you. And it's good to see you. It's been a long time. I haven't seen you in a million years. Hope you're doing fantastic. Where do you live now? I moved to New Jersey, Simon. I know that you moved somewhere. I don't know where you moved. Do you still live in New York City? Do you still live in Brooklyn? Like, where are you based now? I'm curious to know. And I see that you are paying for LinkedIn. You have 2,200 followers, and you even reposted something this week and the past week, but you haven't really been posting on LinkedIn. I'd love to see you start posting on LinkedIn, Simon. I'd love to see your profile optimized. I see that you're the principal of Lux Advisors, and you have over 25 years of financial leadership. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share my screen and I'll share you with the world just to kind of show people who you are so that they can use your services. By the way, everyone in the comments, tell me what you do for a living. I'm taking a look at Lux Advisors right now. He does CFO services, business accounting, business management. Really, really cool that he does all this stuff. I'm going to have my AI tool. See on the right, I clicked on Save Profile. I'm going to have my AI tool summarize his profile. I click on Summarize Profile and actually summarize his profile. Simon, what I'd love to do for you is take your 2,200 followers that you have here and get all their email addresses for you. Is that something that you want me to do for you? I'd love to create a strategy for you to help you with your LinkedIn, to help you be able to maximize LinkedIn. If you want all their email addresses and all their contact information and put them into a system and start emailing them, we can do that. So Simon Zellman is the principal at Lux Advisors and co-founder of Lux Access. He has over 8 years experience in both roles, based in the greater New York City area. At Lust Access, he cultivates exclusive network of luxury fashion stylists and personal shopping concierge services. He has established relationships with top designer fashion brands, jewelers, providing premium services to clients. At Principal of Lux Advisors, he specializes in financial and operational advisory services to early growth and startup companies. He has extensive experience in global development of retail brands in the United States, Europe, and Asia. His skills include investment advisory, mergers and acquisitions, brand development, and team development. He holds a BA in accounting from Queens College. He's also has an educational background in the Yeshiva Soloveitchik. That is cool. Do you see the way my AI just did all that? Just like that, a click of a button, boom. I love that. If you haven't been using our AI tool, it's called Evy AI, EVYAI.com. You can improve your credibility and engagement on LinkedIn. Evy AI is a LinkedIn AI assistant that helps you create personalized comments, write posts, and reply to direct messages. Just like that. I'm going to show you how the AI tool works, but first I have a question for you. Where are you dialing in from? Let me know where in the world you're dialing in from. Write in the comments below. I'm excited. I'm excited today because I have some pretty interesting things to share with you about how to be able to leverage artificial intelligence for business development, how to be able to grow your business. If you're not using AI today, AI is really a game changer. It's been a game changer in my business. It helped me be able to launch a software company, helped me be able to launch a whole new course. It helped me be able to propel my professional speaking career to a whole new level. Are you a professional speaker? I'm curious to know if you speak on any topics. If you do, put your topics in the comments below. LinkedIn is a great place for you to be able to get speaking engagements. I don't know if you're a speaker, just write, I'm a speaker, and write what you speak about in the comments. I love that Simon says he's working on it. Simon, you don't have to work on it alone. I can help you. I can make a difference for you. I can give you the tools, the technologies, the support, the training, whatever you need to help you be able to take your business and your life to the next level. So if you do want that support, I'm happy to assist you and guide you and show you the process. And for anybody else that needs that support, I'm here for you. Know that I'm here. I want to be your trusted advisor. I said this the other day in front of a group of 50 CEOs. I said, I want to be your trusted advisor. I want to help you be able to do all things marketing. So lean on me, ask me questions. Don't be shy. You don't have to pay me money. You don't have to pay me anything to ask me questions. So build a relationship with me, get to know me, and just ask me questions. You can literally ask me any question you want, and I would love to assist you. I would love to help you. I would love to make a difference for you. Do you guys want to review some of my direct messages that I've been sending out on LinkedIn? I can show you direct messages. Say, Joe, I want to see your direct messages. If you want to be able to see my sales navigator, say, Joe, I want to see your sales navigator. If you want to be able to learn about our sales navigator bootcamp, just write sales navigator in the chat. I'll tell you more about my bootcamp. And what we could also do today is we can review some of my recent posts on LinkedIn, because I've been posting on LinkedIn a lot, and many of you haven't even had the chance to take a look and see what I've been posting. Now, I'm going to pull up Simon's profile one more time and share my screen. I just want to show you how this tool works in particular. There's one particular tool that I like using that allows me to be able to identify, for example, people's cell phone information. Like, for example, 646-643-6801. And then I can just call them just like that. You see? Allow this time, and it just starts ringing, and I can, if that's a cell phone number, but if it is, then he'll pick up and we'll have a quick conversation. I'm curious to know if he'll even pick up. Hey, Simon, welcome to my LinkedIn Live. You're on LinkedIn Live. Crazy. I'm gonna call you after the LinkedIn Live. We'll catch up. All right, thank you so. How cool is that? I was literally able to call him from LinkedIn. I didn't have to leave LinkedIn, and I literally just called up Simon just like that, and he picked up the phone. Most people don't have this technology, the knowledge on how to do this. I want to be able to help you. Me and Simon worked together at ashford.com quite a few years ago, 12 years and 3 months ago. That's a long time ago, but we are buddies, and I'm going to help him out. I'm going to talk to him, build a relationship with him. If you're not leveraging LinkedIn, if you're not letting the world know what you do, if you're not connecting with people, then you're missing out. Look at this guy over here, Paul. Paul's a client of mine. Paul says, I'm looking forward to your LinkedIn Live. Look what I'm going to do. I'm going to reply to his comment using my artificial intelligence tool without actually typing anything up. I don't actually have to type the things up. The AI will read his comment, read my post, and generate a very, very quick comment just like that. Boom. And now all I have to do is hit reply. And I said, Paul, thrilled to hear you adding the ultimate sales letter to your list. Can't wait to dive deeper on LinkedIn Live. And I am reading 2 books every month. This month, January, I read the book, The Ultimate Sales Letter, this book over here. I also read a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And I've also talked about that book as well. So I'm going to do an article that discusses both of those books. And I'm going to be sharing that article in my LinkedIn newsletter. If you don't know how to access my LinkedIn, you just go to my profile, and then you can see all of my activity by scrolling down to the section that says activity and then clicking on show all posts. You can see it says show all posts, and then you can filter. There's many different ways that you can filter. So you can filter by posts, comments, videos, images, articles, newsletters, events, documents, reactions. So if you click on, for example, newsletter, you'll see my newsletter. I have a newsletter here with 10,616 subscribers. As you can see, I've written several newsletter articles this month. My goal is to write one every single week. So this past week, I wrote one about learning about your why. The week before, I wrote one about the Influencer Summit. The week before, I wrote about leveraging your network of experts on LinkedIn. Before that, I wrote my whole story about my trip to Florida. Before that, I wrote my goals for the year. So if you want to check out this newsletter, then go check it out. If you want to see all my previous LinkedIn Live events, I did 26 so far. Today's number 27, and I'm live right now. You can go back here under events and see every single LinkedIn Live that I've ever done in my life, and you can pull them up over here and check them out. And I've been doing them almost every day, going live, and then I turn them into videos. So I want to encourage you to start putting yourself out there a little bit more. I want to encourage you to start sharing photos of yourself, videos of yourself, and letting people know that you exist and what you do for a living. Most people are not sharing. Sharing is caring, and the secret to living is giving. So if you're not being a giver, how do you expect to get? How do you expect to get results in your life if you're not busy giving? I want you to take giving seriously. That means calling people up in your life and offering support, making a difference for them. I make 3 introductions every single day to people in my network. And I've generated millions of dollars for my clients just by connecting them with other clients in my network, just by connecting people within the network. So if you're a connector, write connector in the chat and let me know that you're committed to connecting people together, and reach out to people in your network. Most people are not taking the time to reach out. So I highly encourage you to start doing that as a practice, that on a regular basis, start messaging people in your network, connecting with them, and building relationships. When I build a relationship with someone, I try to get to know them a little bit. I try to ask them questions about what they're up to. And then I take some notes inside my program that allows me to record those notes. So go ahead in the comments. Let me know where in the world you're dialing in from. I'm curious to hear. Jim Peterson said he's a connector. Brad Willie said he's a connector. Thank you, Jim. And thank you, Brad. You guys are both amazing. Brad, I'm so looking forward to going to the Office Moving Alliance in March. I'm going to share Brad's profile now on LinkedIn just so you guys can check out Brad. Definitely go ahead and follow him if you can. I'm going to click on Brad's profile just like that. And this is Brad's profile. It has a beautiful background banner. He's him, he, him. You see he's located in Florida here. He has a beautiful about section over here. Evie AI can optimize this about section and make it a little bit better for you. I do recommend getting more recommendations from people. I do see you got one here January 8th and January 10th from different people, which is amazing. I'm going to endorse you for these skills. You probably want to get a couple more endorsements and make sure that these are the actual skills that you want to be endorsed for. And then, of course, if I want to see his posts, I just click on this drop down here. I click on see recent activities. It'll drop me into his recent posts. And that's what I do to be able to see people's posts. I actually save them into particular lists, and then I drop comments on their posts. So as you can see over here, he has 5 comments and 1 repost on this particular post. I'm going to press comment. I'm going to click on the purple icon right here, and then I'm going to drop a solid comment for him. And that allows me to be able to quickly stay top of mind with my network and with his network. So my recommendation to you watching this is leave 10 thoughtful comments every single day. If you're not leaving 10 thoughtful comments every day, you're really missing out on the ability to stay top of mind with people. And my AI builds nice little comments for you. Now, you might be asking me, Joe, why should I comment on LinkedIn? Comment on LinkedIn is a form of giving. Whenever you comment on LinkedIn, you're giving a little piece of yourself to somebody else. So if you take the moment to see somebody's post on the feed and you drop a comment, you're doing them a favor. You're making a difference for them. You're showing up. They were vulnerable and they posted and you went and you commented on their post. That is beautiful. That's a nice thing to do. Do nice things for people, and the universe will reward you with nice things for yourself. I think it was Zig Ziglar that said, people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. Let that sink in for a minute. Do you really care about your LinkedIn connections? If you care, in the chat right now, write, I care. Right? I care. Most people don't care. Most people are just hoarding connections on LinkedIn. And I'm not hoarding connections. I'm trying to go deep. I'm trying to get to know people. I'm trying to build relationships. That's why people like Jeffrey Morrison, I want to know, are you a connector? Are you from Silicon Valley? Brian, he said he's been using FEI mostly to post and comment. I like it. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you saying that. Jim Peterson, I do 2 a day. If you're not posting, if you're not engaging, if you're not messaging on LinkedIn, you are missing out. Now, here's another thing that you can do right now. Hit the repost button on this video. Why? Because that'll send it out to just a few more people, and they'll be able to benefit from this inspiration. Now, I wrote several books. You may not know the books that I've written. I've written several books, and I've done it manually. The reason I've written these books manually is because I did not have artificial intelligence back in the day. I had no AI. I had to sit down and literally write down my table of contents and then write down every single chapter and do the work. And I still love writing because of the exercise of writing multiple books. It helped me build the muscle to be able to be a writer. I became a writer. I didn't know how to write. I hired a writing coach and I worked with her for 18 months to even have the courage to write something. Now you don't have to have the courage. Now you can post it. One of my most popular books is called High Energy Networking. If you haven't gotten the book, say, I'm going to get the book in the chat. The book is powerful because it gives you short insights on how to be able to be a better connector and a better networker. High Energy Networking walks you through my step-by-step process, how I went of being afraid of networking to becoming a master networker. So definitely check out the book. And if you read the book, go on Amazon, leave me a 5-star review if you enjoyed it. I love seeing the value that people get from the books that I share in the world. And so if you haven't been reaching out to people who you've read their books, here's a tip of the day. The tip of the day is when you read a book, reach out to the author of the book. Let them know that you appreciated their book. Let them know that you appreciate them. If someone spent 20 years learning a vocation and then they took another 5 years of their life to write a book about all the things they learned in 20 years, and then you spend 10, 15 hours reading that book and going deep with that human being and connecting with their soul, and then you don't reach out to them, you're doing yourself and you're doing them a disservice. There are millions of books out there, and I'm sure you've read many books. What's the one book that has inspired you the most in the past 5 years? In the past year? What's the one book that you wanna share in the comments? Everyone has a book. Tell me a book that have inspired you. Tell me something that you've read that you've really appreciated. Put that in the comments. Why? Because book recommendations, everybody has a book recommendation. For you, it might be the Bible. For you, it might be Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. It might be How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It might be the book of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. It might be Getting Things Done by David Allen. Think about the books that you've read that have changed your life. Books are powerful. Reaching out to the authors while they're still alive, because I guarantee you, every author from every book eventually will die. Every single author from every single book that ever lived will eventually die. Nobody lives forever. Literally, nobody lives forever. And so I want to encourage you to take a moment and think about reaching out and building relationships with those authors and do it in a meaningful way. Let them know what you got out of their book. Maybe even leave a review for them on Amazon. They will appreciate it endlessly. Most people don't do this, and it's a great networking hack, and it's a great way to build relationships. Another thing I want you to consider doing is start getting on podcasts. Have you ever been featured on a podcast? If you've never been featured on a podcast, it's right, never featured. If you've been featured on a podcast, just say, I've been on a podcast. What type of podcasts would you like to get on? I highly recommend getting on podcasts because when you get on a podcast, it helps you be able to start articulating what you do better and how you do it better. And you start doing personal development and really getting to know yourself. So if you know somebody in your life that can interview you, definitely reach out to them. You can even search on LinkedIn for the word podcast host, and you can find so many podcast hosts. I'm going to show you how to search on LinkedIn for the word podcast host. This is a game changer for those that want to get on podcasts. I'm going to share my screen right over here. I'm going to type in podcast host. Okay, I'm going to just search the word podcast host. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on first degree people right here, first degree, and it's going to show me all of my connections that are actually a podcast host. You see, it's 877 people. What? I have 877 people that are a podcast host. Now I'm going to quote that. I'm going to quote that just like that. And out of the 877, 425 write that they're a podcast host. So I can message. If I wanted to get on 425 podcasts, all I got to do is message these people and say, hey, I'm looking to be on a podcast. Are you looking for a guest? Just simple as that. I'm going to do it right now. I'm open, like just like that. I'm going to click on message. Hopefully it'll pop open the message. If it doesn't pop open, I'm going to control click on this person's name. I'm going to take a look and see, okay, consultant, the manager of a podcast. I'm going to go here. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to say, I am open to being on more podcasts in 2024. Do you run a podcast that needs a solid guest? Let me know. I promise to bring high energy and valuable tips. Okay, so look at that. I'm going to control copy that, copy it. I'm going to hit send. So I just sent this to Mamie. Okay, Now I can literally go to every one of these 425 people and send that cute little message just like that. For some reason, when I click on this message button, it's not opening. So I'm just going to go to each person's profile. I like going to people's profiles anyway. So I'm going to click on message. And now I want the AI to customize this particular message for this particular person. So how am I going to do that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my little AI on the bottom here. I'm going to go like that. And I'm going to hit generate. And it's going to read this person's profile. Let me do that again. It's going to read this person's profile and generate a more custom direct message based on who they are. So it's going to read their first name, their last name, their headline, and it's going to write up a more targeted message. Hey, happy birthday. Hope you're well. By mistake, I wrote happy birthday. I'm going to delete this right here. I'm going to write Joseph. Just like that. By the way, I'm always open to being a podcast. Okay. And I'm going to press insert and I'm going to press enter. So now I just sent him a nice little message. I sent this guy Joseph a nice little message, and I can go ahead and send every one of my connections a podcast. Now, if you don't have anyone that you're connected to that currently has a podcast, you can switch to second degree. So I'm going to switch to second degree here. You know what? I'm going to first take this and I'm going to drop it in the comments for you to have this. I'm going to give it to you as my gift. I'm going to give you this as my gift. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go in the comments of my post. By the way, write podcasts if you want this little thing so you can get that URL. Write podcast and I'll reply to all of you that wrote the word podcast with this URL that you can click on it with one click of a button and be able to pull it just like that. For some reason, when I have some of my extensions open, I'm gonna turn this one off over here. Sometimes my internet gets a little slow when I do that, when I have that particular extension open. So LinkedIn gets a little bit slow, so I'm just going to speed it up by turning it off. Okay. So if you want the podcast thing, just write podcast. I'm going to go to more recent. Okay, so Jeffrey wants the podcast. So Hector wants the podcast. I'm gonna reply to your comment there with this particular link. Click on that link when you get a chance, and you should be able to see all your first degree connections that are podcast hosts, just like that. You see that? This makes it really easy for me to be able to do this. So I press reply, 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 and I just sent it to you guys. And Brian ordered the book. I'm going to start reading it soon. I'm going to hit reply and let's see what the AI writes back to Brian. Just like that. It'll say, that's fantastic, Brian. I'm excited for you to dive into the book. Okay. Just like that. I just replied to Brian just like that. Okay, so as you can see, I replied to all these people here just very, very quickly. And my goal is to share with you not just inspiration, but practical tips that you can apply in your business every single day. These are practical things that you can use. If you want to get on a podcast, this is very, very practical. Finding the people that are podcast hosts that actually are starving for a guest like you. They're starving for it. And getting on them, getting on their profile, very, very powerful. There's another tool that I want to share with you guys right now as well, because I'm all about adding value. Write value if you're getting value from this so far. I'm going to type in Joe Apfelbaum, and I'm going to type in podcast guest. Okay, just Joe Apfelbaum podcast guest. Look, I am part of this network called podcastguest.com. I'm an expert that's listed on their directory. So if you're not on the directory as an expert, I highly recommend paying the 20 whatever dollars and becoming an expert in this directory. And people reach out to me and hit me up and say, "Hey Joe, I would love to interview you on these topics. Look at this. Look at all these topics. And all my information's here, and these are juicy SEO links." So if you want 20% off this tool, just comment podcast guest in the chat and I'll send you guys 20% coupon, 20% off this podcastguests.com. I'm just going to go to view my profile over here. I'm going to scroll down. If you want 20% off podcast guests, just write podcast guests in the chat and I'll be happy to send you 20% off. And then I'll send you the coupon code and the link for you guys to sign up to that, so you can easily be able to start getting more podcasts more podcasts episodes, and also to be able to rank on Google is really, really cool. To get a link like that back to your website is really cool. So as you can see, I'm looking through my recent activity here. Podcast guest, Hector did that. I'm going to say use code Mojo when you buy the premium listing. Okay. I'm going to press Control A, Control C. I'm going to press reply. And I know the CEO of the company, very nice guy. I told him, please make me a coupon code for 20% off for my audience, and I'll be able to share that coupon code. And he said, absolutely, Joe, I'm happy to do that for your audience. And so that's what he did. And now I shared it with Hector over here. Now I'm going to pull up Hector's profile. Hector is a chief product officer, very optimized profile. He works for an organization called CXO Partners, which I absolutely love. Um, and I'm going to drop a comment on his post right over here. So look at this. I'm going to drop a comment just like this, dropping a comment. I'm joining now. Give me a minute. I'm just going to finish my LinkedIn Live. Okay. I'm going to press insert. Hector, this chart by McKinsey is a real eye opener. Cool. Okay. And that's what I got for you. I want to finish off strong for you guys. I want to finish off strong. Realize that the right strategy will save you a decade. So today we have a Sales Navigator Bootcamp webinar. It's the strategies for how to use Sales Navigator to be more successful. If you want to join this webinar, just write webinar in the comments of this. It's going to be a beautiful webinar. We're going to be doing it today. If you want to join, write webinar, and I'll have my assistant reply to you with the webinar that we're going to be having live today. I hope that you guys can join that webinar. Thank you very much for attending this LinkedIn Live. It was my pleasure to be able to have you here today. Feel free to put in what you do for a living before you leave the LinkedIn Live. Leave a comment letting me know what you do for a living. And as always, thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. Today was episode number 27 out of 244. So stay tuned. Hit that little bell on my profile so you get notified of when I'm doing these.